Yes, this is
Hello?
you. That's you. You're live on the air. What's your name?
Yeah, this is Ink.
All right. What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, man. I wanted to go ahead and chime in on the conversation with you guys. Being black myself, when it comes to first of all, I appreciate your show.
Mm-hmm.
I like the fact that you go over a lot of the, you talk a lot about issues and stuff involving the black community. So, but what I wanted to say was that I kind of feel like, being black, I kind of feel when I look at someone like Bernie Sanders, I'm kind of, I will admit that I am kind of leery, and maybe I guess I could say a little bit befuddled because, and I know you've talked about black wealth, but if you're going to have an honest conversation about black wealth and what that takes, I mean, that's going to take diligence. It's going to take, black people being innovative, black people actually doing, things that are, within the interest of our own community. I don't see how a socialist, a democratic socialist who claims that he wants to take, somehow, some way, take some rich man's money and give it to you, and he wants to sell that to you as a resolution to your problems, rather than
to our problems. To you're black, so our problems, right?
Yeah, to our problems. Yeah, rather than I guess a partnership situation where the black community can have channels opened up for investment and for capital, so that we can build our institutions that we need ourselves. I kind of feel like I look at Bernie Sanders in the same way that I would look at an LBJ in the 60s. He set up social programs that he thought was going to help black people, but in the end, they only made black people less productive and more dependent on the federal government.
Can I ask, how is trying to ensure that people have access to higher education making them more dependent upon government, in your opinion? I'm curious.
Well, what I would say is that it is making them more dependent on the government, because even if you look overall, most college professors are pretty liberal in their.
Well, not college professors. I mean, no. Like seriously, if people are making a way for more people, because a lot of people don't go to school now because they can't afford it. The cost burden is too high. So if you make it available for more people to have more access to different, to higher education, if that's something they want to pursue, how does that in turn make them more dependent upon government? Because your example is LBJ, and you're talking about increased governmental dependence. How is that, like that policy, one policy, for example, how does that make someone more dependent upon government?
Well, number one is the fact that if you look at, I'll look at the bigger picture. All right. And as far as I'm concerned, a college degree, especially in this day and age, is essentially worthless because, the people that already have degrees now, they're not finding jobs.
Right. So if a college degree is worthless, then a high school diploma is like obsolete. So to be able to be at least basically competitive, you would need a college degree. So back to my question, though, how does ensuring people who would like to go to college get to go to college, how does that make them more dependent upon government? Right now, we're already dependent upon government for Pell Grants, for student loans. How does that increase government dependency and make people less productive?
All right, college at this point, if you look around you, has already become somewhat of a purgatory, because what you get is you get these young people that go and they major in this stuff, and what they find is when they graduate, their degree is not in demand, or whatever it is that they studied, it's not in demand, and they end up under.
But how is making college affordable for those who want to go? How does that make them less productive and more dependent upon government?
It's because you're saying make college affordable. It already is affordable, all right, for people who want to go. If you want to go to college, you can go to college in America. I mean, with all the financial aid, the state money, even money.
I'm sorry. We must not live in the same America. I mean, part of the reason why this is the conversation is because college is not
Hang on.
It's very difficult to.
Hold on. Let's bring this in so we can actually hear each other talk. So she's asked you a question 3 times, and you've yet to answer it. So let me give you another opportunity to answer her question, which is really simple. How is using the tax dollars that I pay, that kids' parents pay, using those tax dollars to create a program where they can go tuition free? How is that making them dependent on the government when the jobs that they would get and the benefit that the government would derive from an even more educated base? How is it making them? That's a win for the government. Why do you see that in a negative sense when in actuality it is a much better product for our entire community?
All right. Well, what you're talking about, the way the American economy is set up,
the way my bank account is set up. Who said that? Matt, let me ask you a couple of simple questions because it's getting late. Let me ask you, what's Martin's wife's name?
Martin's wife? What do you mean? Martin Luther King's wife?
What's Claire's husband's name?
Claire's husband? Who are you talking about?
Okay, let me ask you 2 more questions, and then I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm gonna leave you alone and let you get the last word. What comes after Roscoe's?
Chicken and waffles.
Okay, well, you got that one. All right, we got one. Listen, dude, we'll give you a chance to call back another time. It's late. We're not gonna get anywhere with this conversation tonight.
Let me finish. I swear I'll be brief.
All right, you got 30 seconds. Go.
All right, but my thing is, okay, if you're gonna make college free and it's a program, that essentially is a government program.
What's wrong with a government program? The military is a government program.
No, the military
is a government program.
Is a branch of the executive branch. It's not.
Social Security is a government program. I mean, we got a lot of government programs. What is wrong with it, though?
You're going to develop a whole culture where people are going to say, okay, well, if I need to get something done, I'm not going to look to myself or my own ingenuity. I'm going to wait for the government to give it to me for free, even if I didn't earn it. And I don't think that's conducive.
Those are 2 different things. No one's saying to just let anybody and everybody go to college. I mean, I think that's been one of the criticisms actually, is that you still have to be academically, ready to go to college to be able to benefit from his proposals. And that's been some flack and on a different end. That's a different conversation. But it just seems like, there's an assumption, and I don't know how detailed you've looked into some of his plans and policies, that his focus on community banking and banking local, that absolutely benefits our community, because how many of us actually belong to Black owned or majority Black banks? Very few of us. Actually, Usher and Killer Mike both just started an initiative trying to encourage people to support Black banks. So there are actually quite a few things that actually do support and encourage what you're saying. We need more ingenuity and self-made, development from within our own communities. Also, when we're looking at people supporting Black businesses, to quote, I can't remember the brother's name now. He's a small business owner from Iowa. His thing was, in particular, the Fight for 15. If people can't afford to, their basic needs, how can they afford to then shop and support the Black-owned businesses, for example, in their communities? So I do understand kind of the concern about, do we get people too dependent upon the government, for example? But I mean, at the same time, we all pay into the system. We all work to make this system better. Why should not the system support us in turn? We have over 20 million Americans still without health care. We have millions more who can't afford their premiums, who can't afford their medications. We spend so much more money trying to pay the gaps for emergency care and stuff. Why not just make it affordable for people to begin with, and that we could have more productive society overall?
Let me ask you one last question, and I'm gonna let you go because it is late and I'm way over time. If I tell you to say it loud, what are you supposed to say?
I'm Black and I'm proud.
Okay, all right. If you didn't get that one, then you were going to get a. No.
One last thing.
No. I got callers in the queue. You can call back tomorrow. I appreciate it. Last caller. Let me take this last caller because that guy was something special.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Okay, caller, you're live on the air.